Shakur Stevenson has been one of my favorite boxers going back to 2016. Loved him in the amateurs, man. One of the best amateurs. I feel like he was such a good amateur, and this is for my real boxing heads out there. Shakur was such a good amateur. He turned over his punches as an amateur, which is not very common. Real boxing guys around him. Shout out Coach Sims with Shakur. Wally Moses, probably one of the best coaches nobody ever gives credit to, and so forth and so on. Shakur Stevenson, to me, had a performance where it's not fair to compare him to Mayweather because they're different fighters in many different ways. But this felt like how sometimes I like movies, right? If you see a good movie, there's a tribute to a movie. Like Paul Thomas Anderson makes like a very good movie. And maybe he liked the scene in an Orson Welles movie that is very influential and important for cinema. Well, he throws in a nod to that moment in his Hollywood film. And it's kind of like an inside baseball or inside Hollywood thing where I'm doing this thing to pay tribute to someone that inspired me. To me, this was the Floyd Mayweather. It felt as though Shakur Stevenson had watched a lot of the later Floyd Mayweather, the Money Mayweather era, and that had played a pivotal inspiration in some of his training and the way he fought. And this was his version of the Maidana fight. This was a fight that could have gone south, but he continuously adjusted. And he took over that fight late, which I think showed people things that people didn't question about Shakur. Does he have a chin? He got caught early in the fight and took it. Does he have heart? Well, he battled through a guy throwing a lot of punches and then took over in the later half of the fight. A guy that doesn't have heart doesn't do that. Shakur is the guy, right? He is the best lightweight. The two guys I'm looking at are him and Andy Cruz at lightweight. Abdullah Mason could be there, but he's still an up-and-comer gunning for a belt. But Shakur's battle-tested 3-division champion, great resume, now the biggest win in the division. Andy Cruz, that's 100% the eye test, but a bunch of people have Gervonta in their pound-for-pound list, and I don't really get how he's there, to be honest. He's an outstanding fighter, but the resume doesn't scream pound-for-pound just yet. That's just based off of, whatever metric you want to use. At some point, people have to start giving Shakur Stevenson credit that he's one of the best fighters in the world. He's been heavily avoided, right? Because if you look at him, he's like a friggin' wizard in the boxing ring. It's like he's got a wand and he can disappear and reappear and hit you with a jab. But the thing that I love about Stevenson now is he's evolving. So he's able to fight in the mid-range. He's able to fight on the inside. And at distance, you're just screwed because he's a great distance fighter. You can see like where we question some of these other fighters, at least for me, like with Bumgardner or even Berlanga. I question how much do they love the sport compared to they love the benefits of being a star in the sport. I think Shakur just loves the sport because the stuff he was doing in this fight was boxing nerd stuff. And quite frankly, like I don't mind that some people don't like the performance because this is for smart boxing fans to understand what he did. And if you didn't like the performance, that's great because we can just write down your name and go, okay, they're not a real guy. They don't know what they're looking at all the way. So on many different levels, we can find out who the real guys are watching fights, commentating, broadcasting, writing about them. Because if you don't see the greatness in this performance, okay, let's write your name down and then let's see what your other takes are, And in terms of a fighter, to see a Hall of Fame trajectory fighter like Stevenson entering his prime, have a performance like this, it's spectacular. It's everything you want from a great young fighter. This is everything you want. So I'm blown away. I'm so impressed with the way Shakur Stevenson handled his toughest fight.